Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here from New Jersey Exposed. Today is Sunday, September 3rd, 2023. Time is 3:17 p.m. Jersey time. And let me tell you, the weather is spectacular in New Jersey right now. Last week it was cold and I was complaining to my park friends that, hey, you know, it's cold out. This is August, went up to the warm weather. We were doing like low 60s tonight and only low 70s during the day, but after that hurricane passed through, which really didn't do anything here other than churn up the water, the heat is back on. It's we're already up in the 80s. I understand it's going to go close. It's going to get up close to 90 tomorrow or this week. So I'm loving it. I love warm weather. I dread this cold weather that's around the corner. So anyway, we got the most. I got to tell you, folks. I've done a lot of disgusting stories. Repulsive stories. You've read them if you've been following my channel or watching my videos, and you know there's been a few that stick out in my mind that are disgusting. The cop in New York and Long Island there that put his autistic son out in a freezing cold garage, and the kid froze to death. Another incident where he hosed the kid down with water and threw him out in the snow. And he killed let his own son die. I think that was, you know, one of these days I'm gonna have to sit down and go through my videos, stories, and see. Maybe we can find. Maybe some of you out there could do it for me. I got a lot of things to do right now. You go through there and we could find out. Maybe I'll make a list and we can figure out what the top 10 or the 5 most repulsive stories I have done. So this one here, excuse me, this, you know, there's lots of disgusting stories. It's just so many. Anyway, I don't want to bore you about that because the story's about this. So anyway, this was reported on, this came out August 31st. It was a busy day that day. This is on KOAT.com. It's a Channel 7 ABC. I guess it's an ABC affiliate. I don't know. Channel 7. Channel 7 here in New Jersey is ABC. Former state police officer charged with forcing 1-year-old into sex acts. I'll read that again for you people. Former state police officer charged with forcing 1-year-old into sex acts. There's the story. And I cannot say this enough times. If you stand by and you don't go to this state police department's Facebook page and hammer them about this, you're just as guilty as the rest of them. You're sitting on your ass, I don't know what you're doing, eating hot dogs, watching the ball game, looking at my stories, you shake your head and you don't do nothing about it. Well, you got to start doing something about it. I'm doing all that I'm going to do, okay? I make videos, I take time out of my day to do this stuff. I could be sitting out enjoying the weather right now, but I do these videos because these disgusting stories need to be exposed. And the other thing too is when you get one of these bootlickers that says, oh, you hate the police, you should respect them, and they're out there protecting us and risking their lives for us, you just refer them to my channel and say, yeah, well, when you can explain to me these stories, then I'll talk about what I'm going to respect and what I'm going to do. Because I get this crap. People say, oh, you need to respect the police. Respect is earned, not given. All right, let's read this disgusting story. I really have not read the whole story because my blood curdles, boils when I hear stories about that. Anytime I hear crap being perpetrated on a young child up into their teenage years, it pisses me off to no end. The only good thing about this, fortunate thing, is this child's 1-year-old, and I suspect the 1-year-old will forget, and that's all we can hope for, that this child will forget about it as it gets older, as he or she gets older. A former state police officer, this is out of New Mexico, this is New Mexico State Police, is charged with forcing a 1-year-old to perform sex acts, was moments away from reaching a deal that would have avoided jail time. Now, I'm trying to think, what kind of sex act are you doing to a 1-year-old? So it only comes down to one thing. I'm just assuming it must be oral sex. So you know, anybody with kids knows what I'm talking about. It's just disgusting. It's disgusting. And this is what narcissists do, these psychopaths do, okay? They do not feel other people's pain. They have no empathy whatsoever. They are an chocolate Easter bunny. They're hollow on the inside. And they don't feel your pain. And this guy probably thought he could do this to his 1-year-old and get away with it. So I'm wondering how he got caught. Maybe we'll find out in the story here. Former state police officer Corey Newman, 30. Well, there you go. Hired him before the age of 30, no doubt, right? Of Edgewood has been charged in June with criminal sexual contact with a minor. They should say a baby, because a 1-year-old is a baby. It was also revealed in court Thursday that Newman was fired when he was charged. Well, good. You know what they should have done before they would charge them? They should have taken him to a room where there's no cameras, okay? This is what the gang should do. You take them to a room where there's no cameras, and everybody puts a mask on so they don't know which officer it is, and just start wailing on them. You don't punch them in the face, you punch them in the arm, you punch them in the leg, you punch them in the chest, you punch them in the stomach, the back. That's what you do, and you give them a good ass whooping. But you think anyone did that? Of course not. Under a plea agreement with prosecutors, there should be no plea agreement, okay? This is disgusting. He would have been sentenced to as little as 5 under a plea agreement with prosecutors. Okay, this is the agreement he was trying to get. He would have been sentenced to as little as 5 years of probation and would also have to register as a sex offender for life. He sexually committed sexual violence on a 1-year-old. A 1-year-old can't run. A 1-year-old can't fight. A 1-year-old can't talk. Who are these prosecutors? But in court Thursday, his attorney didn't want the former officer to have a felony record, and a judge threw the agreement out, forcing a possible trial. Doesn't want his former to have a felony record? Well, I think sticking your wiener in a 1-year-old's mouth or butt or whatever he did is a felony. It's a crime against humanity. It's a crime against God. He gave a full confession to this incident, prosecutors said. Well, if he gave a full confession, if I was a prosecutor, I'd say, great, take it to trial. There'd be no deal. It's a confession. You don't need anything else. You got a confession, you got a victim. They must have evidence also. I wonder if there's a little DNA running around there. He gave full confession to this incident. I wish they would put the confession out there so everybody can see it on YouTube. Said in Sandoval County District Court Thursday, the extent of the defendant's sex addiction. Oh, he's got an addiction. Anybody surprised by that? I mean, we all know that the #1 crime that cops do is sexually related. It's sexual aggression, sexual crimes. It's molesting children, underage sex, child pornography, downloading, sending, raping women. This is the #1 category. Many of them out there, I don't say all because some of the cops I know are not like that, but I will say some of the cops I know are horn dogs. They tell me, but I got to give them a little bit of defense because they all tell me how the badge bunnies just like flock to them. They don't have to do anything except show their badge and show them their gun and they're good to go. It's amazing how some women are like that. They just see a gun, a badge, and they see what the guy represents, and all of a sudden they're opening their legs like it's like WD-40's been applied to their legs. The extent of the defendant's sex addiction came to light during his investigation. Okay, so I'm reading into that statement right there, and I'll read it again. The extent of the defendant's sex addiction came to light during this investigation. So am I wrong, but does that imply that he's been doing other things? I wonder how many kitty porn pictures he has at night. This guy has it at home. No doubt he's a pedophile. The defendant admitted to being a compulsive sex addict with at least the last 15 years. So what else has he done? Has he raped women? Molested other children? There's more to this story. The deal fell apart in court when his attorney said he didn't want his client to have a record so he could make... All right, I got to read this again. The deal fell apart in court when his attorney said, quote, he didn't want his client to have a record so he could maintain a job. Now imagine this, your attorney... Let me take a breath a second. Now, when you get in trouble, obviously you need an attorney. Attorney's there as your advocate. But how can this attorney, in good conscience, even make a statement like that? Doesn't that attorney say to himself, "This guy's a creep"? Now, I know the job of the lawyer is to represent and do the best thing possible, but at what point do you draw the line? I'm not saying you got to tell your client, "Hey, you know, I'm going to try this." Just, this guy belongs in jail, okay? So I look at it like they're already trying to present this as he has a problem. Well, obviously he does have a problem. But they're trying to make it look like, you know, they're doing the sympathy factor here, people. You know, the stress of the job, what else, you know. He had a bad, his mommy didn't breastfeed him, his daddy was a drunk. Who the hell knows? But they're setting this cop up as a victim. He is 30 years old, which is why another reason you should have never hired him at that point. He's going to work for the next 45 years. Yeah, okay. So we're asking the court not to impose that felony. Well, I would say to the lawyer, why did you hire him? He can work in your office. Or maybe one of your relatives that has kids, maybe they can get him a job at their job. Sandoval County District Court Judge George P. Eichwald threw the plea agreement out good when he determined that neither side could agree on whether Newman should have to register as a sex offender for life. Well, I would say as long as he has a dick and as long as he has testosterone and a set of balls, I say he should be registered for life. Because until you snip him off and reduce his sexual urges, this is not going to stop, people. And I'll just set the matter for trial and things will fall where they may, Eichwald said before leaving the bench. Good, I'm glad the judge said that. Prosecutors said in court there was an investigation going on into Newman's conduct when he was fired. Basically, so listen to this one. I'll quote this one. Basically, he was abusing his position of authority as a police officer, involving stalking women, using his system to do that, and his position as officer. Prosecutor said he would run their backgrounds, follow them around town, go to their addresses, things like that, complete abuse of his position. Okay, so my next question. He's using the police database to get people's addresses, phone numbers, personal information on them. Why is he not charged with official misconduct and for accessing the database for his own sexual gain? Trial date has yet to be set. We reached out to the state police and they've yet to hear back. Well, don't hold your breath. They're not going to get back to you anytime soon. So, yeah. Alright, give me a second here, folks. I haven't done this yet. I'm going to look up New Mexico State Police real quick on my Facebook. New Mexico State Police. Okay, there it is. Let me bring it up. Okay, so there's the New Mexico State Police Facebook page. Again, if there's any story that you're going to go, any Facebook page that you're going to go to out of disgust, it would be the New Mexico State Police. Now, I think I posted something here, so let's see. Okay, so it's been a day. The last one says for immediate release, August 31st, 2023. Okay, so all this is propaganda asking the public to help them do the job. This just says on August 31st, New Mexico State Police Bureau was requested to investigate a shooting on Insta. So, again, look at it. Big, long, you know, multiple paragraphs on that. Okay, let's keep going down. 3 days ago, Immediate release. This is August 31st. Okay. New Mexico State Police conduct traffic operations on Interstate 40. New Mexico Police alongside blah blah blah. So basically they're out there violating people's rights, stopping them without probable cause so they can do some revenue generating. Okay. So, and again, 3 days ago, here's a cool picture the Arizona Department of Public Safety shared with us. New Mexico State Police, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Well, okay, so 3 days ago, brings you up to August 31st. Did you know Amber Alerts are crucial in helping? So, now, granted, this happened back in June maybe, but there's no mention of it. Trust me, folks, if that had been you or I who were slated to have a court date to make a plea deal or something, they would have it blasted all over their Facebook page. It'll be a 10-paragraph narrative, which probably took the cop all day long to write it. And but you know, they cover for one another, either directly or quietly. And when you see these departments, when they don't acknowledge it, you know they're covering for it, because that's the only reason. I'm not saying they got to get into particulars. All they got to do is get on and say there, hey, one of our cops was arrested for doing this, that, and the other thing. We don't condone this behavior. He's been charged. He's been suspended. Whatever. That's all they got to do, or they can put the state attorney's office will put out a, or should put out a press release on it, and then they post that. That's all they got to do. They don't have to do anything else, but you know, they always got to put disclaimers in there. But you know, there have been certain departments here in Monmouth County that, like, I'll give you the last example, Wall Township. They had their sergeant over there that was stealing money from the PBA. Well, you know, they didn't waste some time. They put it right up there, and you know, I even went on there. I said, you know what? Thumbs up for doing that. I respect you for not hiding in your office and trying to protect this officer, because saying nothing is the same as doing something. So anyway, you have, let me bring it back up again. Come on, phone. Well, anyway, phone's acting up. I need a phone. Anybody want to give me $200? I need a phone. I just can't, I'm not spending the money on it. You know, as long as it works, I keep using it, but really, I need a new phone. My replacement phone will cost me $200 at Metro PCS. Anybody want to donate a phone that works? I'll appreciate it. All right, so let me know what you think about this. Disgusting. State cop forces a 1-year-old to have sex with him, and disgusting. You know, Captain Dick Johnson once again steering the boat into troubled waters. I'm John Van Dyke for New Jersey Exposed.